Hi y'all, it's Cathy. How you doing? This is my first video that's going to appear on my school art and craft tutorial, and it's because I've had trouble getting the videotaping to work. Anyway, I'm so glad you're here today. We're going to paint a snowman. Do you want to paint a snowman? This is all just for fun, and then I have some friends that are in a grief coaching class that I do that are going to be joining us as well. So I hope y'all have a good time. I'm sorry that I'm not live today, but I have to go help my daughter with a car trouble. So I'll be live next Tuesday. And I didn't have this is going to show you what to do in case you run into trouble with your painting. I didn't have a canvas the size that I needed that wasn't already traced upon for another picture, so I just painted over the whole thing with blue. So my base color is going to be blue. You can pick whatever base color you want to paint around your snowman. You might want to paint around your snowman. You should have gotten your tracer and been able to trace your snowmen out onto your canvas with your graphite paper, and then you can just you can paint your snowman first and go back and paint your background, or you can paint your background first and then paint your snowman, whichever way you're comfortable. Usually we paint the background first and then we go in and paint whatever object we're painting. But today we're just going to, I'm just going to put the camera on the painting so you can see it, and I've already painted my background blue. I'm going to add a little white to it a little later and some snow and all that, but right now it's just a blue background, and I didn't have a tracer, so I just free-handed the snowmen, but it'll give you an idea of how to paint your snowman. So here we go. Let me turn my camera down here. I might need to move it a little bit. Sorry. Here we go. I'm going to try to get it to turn. I think it'll show you pretty good what we're painting. So there's the two a snowman and a snow lady, I guess. And I have paint all over my table. I just ran in here and painted this real quick because I know I have to be gone tomorrow. So I wanted to get this video up for you guys so you'll have a little bit of instruction. Anyway, this is really just for having fun, and most of y'all probably paint it better than I do. So these are just fun. It's fun to get the little tracers and pictures in the mail to give you an idea. The email to give you an idea of what to paint. Also, I use everything for paint. I use egg cartons. I use styrofoam meat trays for paint. I have wooden pallets and a lot of other things, but just to show you how you don't have to have a lot of stuff to get started, I wanted to go ahead and use those today. So since I've already got my background blue, I'll probably go in with some white and blend it in there a little later and then put some snowflakes. But for now, we're going to go ahead and paint our snowmen. So get your white and paint around your snowmen, and you can go back over the if you've traced your tracer with a permanent marker, your black would probably still show through the paint. I'm just going to freehand this, so just go ahead and use your large brush and fill in your snowman. It doesn't matter if a little of the background color shows through, because it's snow, and we can paint another coat first of all, and then the other thing is we don't want it to look perfectly clean because snow is not perfectly clean. Anyway, and go ahead and paint the face. This is the 1-inch brush. On your supply list, I think I told you to get a 1-inch brush, a 8-inch round brush, and a detail brush. Also, there is another little brush I like to use a lot, and I call it a fan brush. I'm not sure what it really is called, maybe a feather brush or a fan brush, and it looks like this. And this is a detail brush, and this is a number 8 round brush. I've used mine 100 times. So get both of your snowmen painted, snowman and snowwoman. With our white. I hope y'all are having a good day today. I have been laying floor in the kitchen. And I got a shower real quick so I could come out here and at least give y'all a video for tomorrow. Or for the future when someone just wants to do a fun little snowman painting. Once you paint a snowman, you could pretty much paint a snowman on anything. What's really fun is things like door leaners, you know, those are fun to paint snowmen on. I was just painting this all in so I could make sure my dimensions were pretty close. So there we go. There's a snowman. You can take your, I think I'll add a little more white to this one. You can take your paint and put a little gray around the edges if you want to. There was a little bit of a shadow or a gray around the snowmen in that painting that I sent y'all, that picture. And all you would do is just grab a little gray paint on your, or, you know, mix some black and white together. That's what these little trays are good for. Might want to start with your brush a little wet and grab some white paint and then a little bit of black paint. Mix it together and get a little gray. Might need a little more white. Get a little gray going on, a real light gray if you want to add gray to it. Just mix it up in your meat tray or palette, whatever you have. And then you can just kind of brush it in around the edges. Another way you could do this is to just you put half of the white on half of your brush and the gray on the other half, and then just walk it around the edges. There's a couple different ways you can do this, but it just adds a little shadowing to the snowman. It's mainly around the bottom edge probably that you want to do that. Okay. Then we're going to take our, and you can use other brushes besides the ones that I recommended. Those are just the 3 that you're probably always going to need, is the ones that I recommended. So what you can do now is just rinse your brush off real good, your larger brush, and we're going to paint her scarf tan and red. So what I'm going to do is paint it all tan first and then come back. I'm actually going to use, I think, this color called King's Gold. Where's the camera? King's Gold by Apple Barrel. The colors I've used so far are either Crafters. I use Crafters from Hobby Lobby a lot. But the main paint that I use is called Deco Art Americana. And I just get the basic colors and usually mix a lot of paint. But they have so many beautiful colors that you could just pick whatever color you wanted your art piece to be, and you know, grab up those colors. Seems like when you start painting, you wind up with a little bit of all different kinds of colors. But I'm going to use this King's Gold for my tan. On yours, it may be a little more tan than this. You can use just a tan if you want to. So I'm going to take my brush, which is still a little damp, and I'm just going to paint that whole area that's supposed to be the scarf in this color. Ah, almost got the yellow. We'll probably highlight it a little bit a little later, and we're gonna paint over this with some red also. Just getting a base color going on in here. I have to let it dry a little bit. I think y'all can see it pretty well. Y'all gonna have to share with me what got you into art, what your favorite types of painting are. I know a lot of people have many different types of painting that they like. I personally used to toll paint back in the 1980s, I guess. And I like that. That's painting on wood. And only this last year have I been painting on canvas, and I've been doing paint parties, and it's just for fun and hobby, you know, just for fun. So I was doing paint parties, and then I decided to do this channel and just do it online instead of doing parties. I may wind up doing a few parties anyway, because they are fun for birthdays, and it's fun to just go to a coffee shop and do parties if people want to do that. So may do a few of those later. Okay, so when you have that the way you like it, rinse it off, and we're going to do the other snowman's hat and scarf a green color. I'm going to go with a dark green, and then I'm going to lighten it up with other shades of green and some brown in a, oh wait, let me think about that. Maybe I'll paint it the brown. No, I'll paint it the green. I'm going to paint it the dark green, and I'm going to do shades of brown after I get this painted, after it dries a little bit. The good news for you is you probably have it traced, and so it's going to be easy for you to follow the lines. I'm just trying to get some green color on there. Yikes, if you get out of line, that's okay. Just go on up there. And I extend my painting over the top of my canvas, over the side of my canvas, whichever direction I'm going in, just because I think it looks neat to do that. Okay, that's just giving us a little base coat. Okay. When that gets, we're going to let that dry for a minute. And we'll probably just go in with our small liner and do the orange noses. Just find a place to make a nose. You probably already have one on your tracer if you want to follow that. My dogs are having a fit out there. There must be someone near my backyard. And then paint the nose on the other little guy. One thing I will say is that I use these paint brushes that are very cheap for my paint parties and everything. So since I'm going to a little different, you know, area of painting, I think I'm gonna invest in some better detail brushes. I've seen some that look pretty cool on Facebook ads. My granddaughter's a real artist. she is a commissioned artist who does portraits and everything, and I'll probably ask her what she recommends. Okay, get that nose painted. Then we're just gonna grab our number 8 round brush, and we're not gonna use the brush part of it. We're going to use the end of it and dip it in some black, like that. And just make a couple of eyes. There's that eyes for that little lady. Then come over here and make some eyes for this guy. Then we're gonna take the smaller detail brush, I think. We're gonna try this out and see if it works. And use the end of it and go around for the mouth on each one of the snowmen, snow people. Got that a little big, but that's okay. Maybe we'll just make them all a little bit bigger. Okay, they don't have to be the exact size, you know, the same size all the way around. You can have some smaller ones and some larger ones. And then I don't have a picture that I'm looking at, so I think his mouth was a little bit lower. You can look at it, and if you need to go back over a couple of them, just do that. Okay, got their little faces. You might want to use a towel to kind of wipe the end of your brush off, and put it back in there. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead with a second coat of paint on my scarves, just because I'm not real happy with that they're so see-through. So I'm going to grab some of the gold again, the King's Gold. Just do a second coat here real quick. That's better. And it doesn't have to be perfect, y'all. The type of brush that you use will make a difference in your painting, though. You know, a better brush does a more smooth outcome, while a cheaper brush is going to be a little rougher. Okay, when you're happy with that, then go back over your green a little bit, maybe. Okay, get your scarf. Okay, that's a lot better. Then we're gonna let that dry a minute. And in fact, let's go ahead and paint the brown sticks for the arms. Let's see. I don't think I put brown out here. Maybe. Let me see if I have a color that I like. That's called cinnamon stick, which is a reddish brown color I use quite a bit. It's called, I'm sorry that I checked the deal, cinnamon stick. That's a really good color by Deco Art. And it's kind of a reddish brown, so I like that color for deer and other things like that. I mean, it's getting winter, and I mean, you know, it's fall and it's getting winter, so we'll be using a lot of browns, a lot of different colors of browns for our leaves and trees and all the things. It's a little thick, but it wasn't really showing up that good, so I thought I'd make it a little thick. You can use a smaller brush if you want a thinner stick. Okay, we have that part done. Now we can take our, I'm gonna hit it with the blow dryer for a minute. If you have a blow dryer handy, it's good to have one nearby so you can, if you're trying to move along to the next paint and you don't wanna, sorry, don't listen for me. Now you can, one thing we do need to do is go ahead and paint our the white balls up at the top of our snowmen. And what I do for that is I start in the middle, do a little circle, and then just pull little streaks out to make it look fluffy. I don't know what I got on that, but it'll be all right. I can go back over it when it gets dry. Oh, I've got brown on it. Oh, I didn't get it rinsed good from when I did the brown. That's why you want to rinse your brush good. That's okay. It can dry, and then you can go back over it. So I just kind of start in the middle, and then I just pull little streaks of fluff out. And when that dries a little, I even go over it a second time sometimes to add a little more fluff. But I definitely will on that one because I got it all that brown on there. So the next thing we want to do is use that same brush, rinse it out good. Doesn't matter so much when it's white, but rinse it out good. And we're going to use the red. Make sure your brush is good and dry. Not dry, but, you know, not full of water so it won't run on your painting. My red looks a little runny, actually. But use the red, and we're We're going to paint the top of the hat red, and we're going to paint the little, like, checks, like a checkered red through the checks. Now, after we paint this area red, we're going to add some little white stars to it, or dots to it, in a little while, when it dries a little bit. You can use your big brush to do this, or your small brush, it doesn't matter. Now, we're going to come around and just do a red on the end. Then we're going to leave a little space, and we're going to do some more red. This is like a, you know, a plaid pattern. So just skip a little space in between your colors. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing on the scarf. Really, we want to have more red than the golden color, the brown, tan, whatever you want to call it, tan or golden color. We want to have more red on it than that. And we're going to add white to it as well, with stripes, after we're finished with this step. If you haven't started your painting yet, you're just watching right now, before you start your painting, write on the back of your frame what you're thinking about today. What are you thinking about? Are you thinking about learning how to paint? Are you thinking about something you need to do later? What are you thinking about? I want you to write something on the back of your painting every time you start to do a painting, because it helps you to process your thoughts. When you start doing creative things and you have something you're trying to work out in your mind, it actually seems to help you process that, and it becomes less of a challenge for you. Sometimes we might write a scripture that we like trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. So you could write something like that and keep that as a meditation while you're painting. Okay, now we have our we're going to do some brown and some lighter green on this. So first we're going to go ahead and do the brown. So I don't have a tan brown. I don't know what happened to my brown. Let me look around here for a minute. I have all of my paints all over the place, y'all. Let's see. Oh, I have all kinds of glitter paint. Oh, there's a nice color. This is a nice tan color. I'll use this. This is called Camel. It's not brown. I might mix it with some cinnamon brown. My regular brown's in a big bottle and I just can't find it anywhere. It's around here. I thought it was over there, but I don't see it. So get yourself, and you really, I have got way too much paint going on. You usually need about a quarter size paint at the most for each. Maybe a dime for the smaller details, but a quarter maybe for your even larger pieces. You'll learn in time how much paint to put on your palette. As I said, I've worked with kids a lot, so these egg cartons are great. Are great because they'll hold 12 paints and they don't get in each other's way. And then you can use your little meat tray when you need to mix a color. That's what I do a lot. Okay, I'm going to use this tan. I may mix the brown in, the cinnamon brown in with it a little bit, just to make it a little darker. Yeah, that's going to be a good color. Okay, and we're going to do just a little bit of tan throughout here. I'm just mixing my, that camel that I have. I'm just taking a little bit of it and mixing it over here with my cinnamon stick just to make a little darker tan, lighter brown color. You can use any color that you want. These are just colors that I use. You might want to give your snow people pink hats. You know, I don't know. Maybe if you have all girls, you want to do pink and purple or something. I'm going to go ahead and make that come all the way to the edge. I was experimenting to see if it would look right, not coming to the edge, but I don't really like it that way. So go ahead and bring it to the edge. Then I'm just going to do a little bit of a color over there. Okay, we've got to do the scarf real quick. One thing that will help your paint move on the canvas is if it has enough water in it, but then if you get too much water, you can make a big mess with that. So another thing that you can use is called a medium. They sell them medium at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, and it's like a clear fluid that you can mix with your paint to cause it to glide on your canvas a little bit better. Seems like his scarf did something else up here, like folded or something. We don't want a real heavy hand with this color. Okay, when you get that done, I think I was going to use white on both of them, but I might use a little gold on the red one because I think that would be really pretty. Let me see if I have some gold over here. There's a color that I like called 14 karat gold. My luck is going to be on here when I find it. You know, they make all kinds of, I can't find my gold actually, so probably, I guess I'll use white. They make all kinds of glitter paint, y'all. They make, you know, folk art, extreme glitter, deco art, craft twinkles. They make all kinds of glitter paint that you can use if you like glitter paint. They make a 14 karat gold. It's really pretty. I think I'm out of it because I use it quite a bit. So I'll go ahead and use white, I guess, that's what they had on the picture anyway. But first I'm going to take my lighter green, rinse your brush off. Well, I'm still using the number 8 brush. Rinse your brush off and get your lighter green. I always just get 2 or 3 colors, you know, a dark, a medium, and a light of things that I want to add extra color to. I usually have at least a dark and a light of most colors. Like with red, I might add some yellow or orange to it to make it a little lighter, or add some white to it just to make it a lighter red, or pick 2 colors of red just so that you can add a highlight so that your painting has some dimension to it. Okay, what am I doing? Oh, I was getting this lighter green, and I'm just going to go around and add touches of the lighter green in here. Okay. I can't really remember what they did. I don't think they did a lot to the hat on that one up there, and I think they just put white details, like white lines and white spots on the caps. So I'll just get the white, a little bit of white, and go around and do just a little detailing, like maybe even do some scarf pulls here. And then come back with another color here in a minute. Usually you want to do your darker color first, to tell you the truth, but I just started doing this. You can always do this and then add some color, and then if you need to add some more white over it, you can. I'm going to fix this a little bit up here that I messed up. Normally this is what I do to add another like dimension of layer to it by going over the top, and I guess that's okay with the brown in there. But if you notice, you have your one layer, and if you put another dot in the middle and then you just pull out from it, it adds another layer. It gives it like a 3D look for your little puff balls. So that's so cute. Okay. Now we're just going to take our white and go around and kind of put a few lines in our scarf. Probably want to stick to one side when you're putting the white in. Don't put it on both sides of your stripes, because we're going to come in with some black and go over and do some of that. I have a string on the end of my brush. It keeps catching. And up here they did some dots, so we'll just take the end of our small brush and we'll just do some dots. There we go. She's getting so cute. Okay, let's do the guy over here. I assume this one's the guy. I don't know. They're just cute little snow people. Just want to drag a few lines in there. Okay, I think that's enough for that. We might, oh, I think they has a few lines through the hat on this snowman. Not worried too much about that. Okay, now we're going to take the black. We're going to wash off our detail brush really well. Grab a paper towel. We're going to take our black paint with our detail brush. Some people use paint pens, some people use Sharpies. You can use whatever you want. This is a detail brush. This one's not great because it has a hair on the end of it that's pulling, but let's see if I can get it off, or at least up. So all you do is you just go around your painting wherever you want to outline it a little bit. I have a tendency to be whimsical, so I hardly ever draw a straight line, y'all. It's like I want it to look more cartoonish than anything. That you can go exactly on the lines if you want to. So I might even add nah, I'm gonna leave the puff balls alone. And you just drag it, and if it doesn't go, like if it stops and it doesn't go all the way across, that's okay. You don't want a lot in here, just few little wisp of black, just for a little detail. So there's, see, I didn't do that much to her, just a little bit, just enough to give it some, to make it pop a little bit. You might want to pull a couple little black lines in there, but not too much. See, there's that one, and I'm just gonna see the difference in the two. That one doesn't have any detailing, that one does. It just makes it pop a little bit. And again, you can just put it wherever you feel you want it to be outlined a little bit. And see, I took my hat over the edge on this. I got a little heavy-handed with that, but that's okay. You don't really want to get too heavy-handed, but that's okay. So the lighter you press your brush down, the smaller, the thinner the line will be. And the heavier-handed you are, the thicker your line will be. And again, it also depends on the brush. You want to get a real fine detail brush for your details in your outlining. I don't think we really need to outline the carrot nose. I think that's good just being orange like that. So when we get finished with this part, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of snow and stuff to my background. A little bit of white. So that's how he came out. And so there you go. They're so darn cute. Aren't they cute? And you can leave them on a white background, but they won't show up as well. So you might want to put some blue or whatever color, you know, a very light blue or whatever color you like in the background. The whole reason that I did a dark background is because I had something else traced on here and I was trying to use this canvas. So just remember, you can always, you know, use a canvas. You know, I could even mix some of this white with some of my sky blue and just to give it some more dimension and color. So let's see. I keep a whole stack of these. I make a mess. This is Province Sky by Deco Art. And the other color that I used on here, the blue, is, was it True Blue or was it, yeah, no. It was True Blue. I have two different colors of blue. It was True Blue by Deco Art. I think it might have been, no, it was this one. It was Primary Blue by Deco Art. So, when you have your white on your brush, just use that blue and mix them together. And go around your background to try to lighten it up a bit. It looked good on the dark blue too, but I want to make it more like a snowy sky, so I'm going to work this blue in here. And the thing about painting is, you know, the thing that makes painting good is if you can do layer and layer and layer and layer, different layers of all different kinds of things. You can get palette knives and do extra layering, and it just gives it more texture and more of a 3D look, I guess. And you can add water to your brush if it's not dragging good for you on the paint, on the canvas. I do like that dark blue, but I wanted it to be more like a snowy sky. I may add a little gray in here, I don't know. Another fun thing to do with edges is to do them striped. I have a lot of paintings where I do stripes around my edges, or I do little whirly things, you know, if you want a more whimsical type of painting. And, you know, if you have an easel, sometimes I paint on an easel a lot, but not when I'm doing videos because y'all can't see them. But if you're painting on an easel, you can always turn your painting upside down and lay it in there. You can see that I'm not trying to get this perfect. I'm just trying to get some paint around in there. It has a more of a wintry look to me than the dark. So I'm going to now maybe put a little gray in with that. Or some silver. Yeah, I'll use gray. This is a really dark gray, so I'm going to have to mix it with some white. Ah! This is why you don't pour it out of the bottle. I got way too much on there. That's okay. I haven't used this in a while, so it's kind of gunky. When you don't use your paints for a while, they might get a little gunky on you. I don't use this one very often, so I don't care that I wasted a whole bottle almost. Okay, I'm going to use some of this gray and get some white and mix in with it so that it's not as dark. Just to give myself a little bit of a gray sky. You know, winter is kind of gray, kind of have a grayish tint to it, so we'll just add a little gray in here. When this dries, it'll kind of all just mix together. And I'm going to paint some snowflakes on here. And that's pretty much it with this painting, y'all. You can just work on it until you get it the way you like it. Of course, it's pretty with just a white background, but it won't show up much. Okay. There we go. That's pretty much what I'm going to do. And then I'm just going to add some stars. And the easiest way to make stars is just to I'll put one right in the middle here. Just put a dot down. Ugh, my paint's still wet. Then you can do an X. And then just a line down the middle. And that makes a pretty good snowflake. You can put little dots on the end of it if you want to. Anyway, that's not so good because my paint is still really wet. But that's really a good way to just add a few quick snowflakes to your picture. Or if you have stencils, you could do that. I like putting stencils on my paintings. I use stencils, I use stamps, all kinds of things. We'll be doing some of that later, y'all. Look, see, there's a few little snowflakes for our snowmen. Okay, that gave you the idea. Well, I hope you enjoyed the painting of Mr. and Mrs. Snowman, I guess, or maybe boyfriend and girlfriend snowman. I don't know. There they are. And yours will probably come out looking completely different because we all have different hands, you know. That's it. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to be on live next week so I can talk to y'all. And this is just about having some fun with simple paintings so that we're not stressed out. And it doesn't matter if we mess up because we're just visiting and we're just doing a painting or a craft to keep us busy and to work out internal frustrations and relax. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy painting, and I'm glad to have painting buddies. Hi, Melissa. I'm so glad to have you. I think you and I are maybe the only ones on today. Talk to y'all later. Bye.